The front squat is performed in the sagittal plane and is achieved through knee and hip extension and plantar flexion of the ankle. The movement can be split into two phases, the downward phase and the upward phase. The phases can be divided into three different phases. Phase 1 is the downward phase. It begins with the knees slightly flexed, with a knee flexion of 10 degrees and ending with a knee flexion of 80 degrees. Phase 2, the upward phase. It begins at the bottom of the squat with initial knee flexion of 150 degrees and finishing on the upwards phase of the squat with knee flexion of 100 degrees. Phase 3, the lift completion phase. It begins with knee flexion of 40 degrees and ends with knee flexion of 10 degrees. In this video, I will be discussing the kinematic and kinetics of the back squat. In the back squat, the knee flexors, ankle plantar flexors, and hip extensors are responsible for the control of the knees, hips, and ankles during the back squat. For the starting position, the lifter places the barbell resting against the superior aspect of the trapezius, and hand placement is approximately 15 centimeters away from the shoulders, with the knees flexed at approximately 80 degrees. The barbell is positioned on an adjustable rack that is a comfortable height for the lifter to remove the barbell and place it back after the squat sequence has been completed. Feet are spread approximately 42 centimeters apart, with the toes pointing straight ahead, approximately 15 degrees laterally. During the lift-off phase, it creates a joint angle of approximately 120 degrees, and the knee can be flexed around the 80-degree mark. The trunk creates a segment angle of approximately 70 degrees. The angles of the thigh and shank are around 120 degrees and 60 degrees respectively. During the eccentric phase of the back squat, the iliopsoas group, quadriceps group, and adductor group all work in stabilizing the movement. Posteriorly, the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, semitendinosus, and bicep femoris shorten on the eccentric phase. The gastrocnemius and soleus muscles also contract to stabilize both concentric and eccentric phases. The core muscles isometrically contract to stabilize the spine during the back squat. The anterior thigh muscles create a knee moment arm of approximately -6 centimeters and a hip moment arm of around 15 Newton meters. Now we will compare the kinematic and kinetic differences of the back squat versus the front squat. The front squat feet position is also approximately 42 centimeters apart, with toes pointing outwards also. The front squat also predominantly occurs in the sagittal plane. Compared to the back squat, the eccentric phase still can be lowered to knee flexion of 90 degrees to 120 degrees, though elbows are parallel to the bar to decrease forward chest movement. Knee tracking during the front squat still tracks the feet, though the knees come predominantly more forward than the back squat to counterbalance the shift in forward weight. The front squat is predominantly using the anterior quadriceps muscles. The front squat performed correctly resulted in significantly lower compressive forces compared to the back squat. This is due to anterior location of the barbell with respect to the grip and moment arm of the hands and arms. With an anterior shift in loading force, this generates possible risk of overextension of the knee joint, though extra knee movement anteriorly is allowed in correct execution of the front squat. Another common variation used is the lunge squat. The lunge squat is also performed in the sagittal plane. The lunge squat uses a single leg per repetition. This emphasizes the quadriceps muscles and allows a full concentric-eccentric movement to be performed by one leg at a time. The lunge squat is especially important for rehabilitation purposes, as one leg can be targeted rather than the back and front squat, which target both lower limbs. A weight belt is a common addition used to perform a back squat. The weight belt has been shown to increase abdominal pressure from the anterior aspect of the abdominal wall. The weight belt does this by adding additional force with limited space, which equals an increased anterior pressure of the spine, resulting in higher spine stabilization. We see an increase in voluntary contraction of the rectus abdominis with the belt. We also see a decrease in voluntary contraction of the external obliques compared to without the weight belt. Greater external oblique activity without the belt is needed to enhance trunk stabilization,